Dice Gambit promises tactical, dice-based combat and the dramatic sagas of a noble family, and most intriguingly could provide the coziest vibes. So could this game offer the perfect blend of thoughtful strategy and relaxing atmosphere, or is it just a case of wishful thinking? Well, we're about to find out, but first, what exactly is Dice Gambit all about? At its heart, it's a role-playing game that blends two distinct experiences: tactical turn-based combat and the long-term management of a noble family's dynasty. In Dice Gambit, the city of Neotalis teeters under threat from chromatic monsters. As the head of a debt-bound noble family of inquisitors, you battle through these threats while forging your legacy. Through academy-taught classes, intricate dice battle combat, and alliances with eccentric nobles, you shape not just your lineage's destiny, but the fate of the city itself. So the real question becomes, can a game about debts, monsters, and forging your dynasty be cozy? Let's get into it. A game can have the most relaxing mechanics in the world, but if you don't care about the world or the people in it, the experience remains hollow. Dice Gambit sidesteps the generic disposable soldier trope common in tactical games, and instead centres its entire experience on a single continuous bloodline. You're not just commanding a faceless squad, you're cultivating a dynasty. The game invites you to invest personally from the very beginning. You design your family's crest, a symbol that will be carried through generations. You choose the hair colour for your heirs, deciding whether this branch of the family will be known for their shockingly striking pink hair. This isn't just aesthetic flair, it's the first step in building a narrative. Watching your inquisitors marry, have children, and pass down traits such as crazy and zen, although I'm not quite sure how those two go together, but in any case, it creates a natural sense of attachment. But on the other hand, Dice Gambit keeps you at a bit of a distance. The systems are elegant but abstract, and characters rarely develop in ways that feel deeply personal. The nobility of Neotalis are vibrant, but interactions with them are transactional, more about the mechanics than the relationships, as they mainly help you expand your family and get access to new classes or buffs for your children. Your family members kind of feel more like vessels for skills and abilities rather than distinct personalities, and without meaningful dialogue or emotional arcs for your characters, it's hard to truly connect to them on a narrative level. So it's a 1 out of 2 for player connection. Raising heirs feels meaningful until you realise you're mostly just trying to get better stats. In a cozy game, you want to see tangible growth without feeling the constant pressure to optimise or the punishing sting of falling behind. This balance is sometimes well managed in Dice Gambit, but not always. Dice Gambit offers a system of power-ups that unfold at a refreshingly chill pace. Your toolkit of abilities grows steadily and organically, giving you an ever-expanding set of solutions to the game's challenges. New character classes and passive family-wide bonuses also unlock at a leisurely rate. Your first few heirs might be simple inquisitors, but after a few generations you can unlock specialised specs, like Berserker or Vanguard. This forward momentum is further enhanced by the range of difficulty settings in the game. By dialing down the danger to its lowest settings, the game essentially becomes very aligned to a cozy gamer who's just here for the story and not the stress. But one of the difficulties with progression in this game is the stamina system, which even on the easier settings limits how many quests your best heroes can undertake before needing to rest. This forces you to rotate your roster. If you absolutely hate the idea of benching your darling heir right before a big mission, this constraint will feel very limiting. But for players who enjoy experimenting with fresh team compositions and strategies, this limitation can keep the gameplay lively and prevents it from becoming a grind where you just use the same 4 heroes for everything. Whilst the steady progression can offer a chill pace to the game, it can make it feel less meaningful. Unlocking new powers or facilities is rewarding in a strategic sense, yet the upgrades can feel incremental rather than transformative. You rarely get that rush of everything feels different now that the best progression systems tend to deliver. Instead, you often find yourself nudging stats, refining builds, and slowly optimizing rather than experiencing dramatic shifts in how you play. It can therefore make it difficult to recognize how far you've come while you're playing this game. So it's a 1 out of 2 for meaningful progression. Incremental upgrades are fine, but it's hard to cheer when your reward is basically, congrats, your numbers went up slightly. The very concept of a dice-based game may not seem the most typical cozy experience. Dice are by their nature instruments of pure chance. A single bad roll can undo a dozen brilliant decisions, leading to the kind of frustrating, controller-throwing moments that are anything but cozy. However, the brilliance of Dice Gambit's design is how it balances a remarkable sense of agency whilst also helping you submit to the luck of the game. For instance, you're given a wealth of information to work with, especially during combat missions. You can always see the upcoming enemy turn order, which allows you to plan ahead and figure out when to pop a defensive shield ability at the perfect moment, knowing it won't be wasted. The game becomes less about reacting to chaos and more about proactively shaping the battlefield to your advantage as the game goes along. There is also the ability to re-roll your dice, and this mechanic is very generous, especially on the easy settings, which often allows for a bit more control in influencing the desired outcome. This constant interplay between luck and control means that good planning routinely saves the day. When you succeed, it feels earned, a direct result of your clever thinking, and more importantly, when you fail, it's just Lady Luck messing with you again. Or in other words, it's the game's fault, of course. Outside of battle, the structure of the game can feel fairly rigid though. Progression through the academy, your missions, and lineage growth follows a very set rhythm. You can tweak things a bit, but your overarching path feels very predetermined. There's rarely going to be a moment where you surprise yourself and carve out a unique solution that the game didn't expect. So it's a 1 out of 2 for sense of agency. The reroll button is basically an emotional support feature. Hey there, just a quick pause to say that if you're enjoying the chill vibes and discovering new and unconventional cozy games, subscribe to the channel. If you wanted to support the channel a little bit more, you can also give this Slothee a coffee. And trust me, I need the energy. You can find the link in the description below. And now, back to the video. For a game to be cozy, its world must feel like a place you want to inhabit, a warm and inviting space that encourages you to linger. Dice Gambit's presentation makes a strong case for itself, presenting its world in soft, appealing hues. The setting is a picturesque watercolour, Renaissance-like city, brought to life with a gentle storybook charm. You can almost feel the warmth radiating from the terracotta roofs and hear the lively rhythm of Neo-Talis. The character designs are stylish and distinct, while the chromatic monsters bring a surreal, outworldly-like energy to the battlefield, creating a very engaging contrast during battles. It's a world that invites you to linger, to soak in the details rather than rush past them. Headphones are also highly recommended with the music turned on full volume, as the sound design is probably the best feature of this game. The music selection is stylish, immersive and distinctive, and it really helps you get sucked into the energy of Neo-Talis and the game's world. So the vibe in Dice Gambit is both chill and engaging, and entirely perfect for the game. Unsurprisingly therefore, it scores a 2 out of 2 for atmosphere. The soundtrack slaps so hard it basically does half the monster slaying for you. A truly great cozy game becomes a reliable comfort, something you can return to time and time again, like rewatching a favourite movie. The value proposition is often measured in sheer hours of peaceful enjoyment. Dice Gambit is designed from the ground up to provide this long-term replayable comfort. Its procedural and customizable nature means that each run of the game offers a fresh experience every time you start a new family. The class combination system adds another rich layer, as you can actively shape your family's military history over generations. Will you build a dynasty that stacks shield dice and invests heavily in armor generation? Or will your next family be a pack of ruthless, scrappy knife jugglers, focusing on crit enhancing skills and flanking bonuses to eliminate enemies quickly? This strategic variety is constantly refreshed by a deck of shuffled events. But despite the customizable nature of the game, sometimes the events and story arcs can feel a bit samey. It can take a bit of time to get stuck into the mechanics of the game, and the story and the events often aren't strong enough on their own to keep you hooked during this time. It can then be sometimes hard to want to keep playing the game until you've really got stuck into the mechanics. I think it relates to the structure of the game itself, remaining largely the same, which can make subsequent runs feel more like refining what you already know rather than discovering something new. The generational mechanics are clever, but after a while the novelty of passing down traits gives way to optimization, and the story doesn't adapt much to reflect your different choices. So it's a mixed bag for replayability. You could argue it has a strong sense of familiarity and predictability that can make some cozy games replayable, but it equally could feel too repetitive to deserve another playthrough after a while. So it's a 1 out of 2 for replayability. The novelty of passing down traits is fun, until all you're passing down is the family's allergies to crit rolls. So what's the final verdict? Is Dice Gambit truly a cozy game? Well, it scores a 6 out of 10, putting it in our almost cozy category. If your personal definition of cozy has room for mild peril and you find satisfaction in strategic thinking, then this game is absolutely worth its modest price point for its genre. However, if you require the pure, unadulterated calm where the stakes are never high and you don't need to waste time letting your children rest, then maybe you should skip this one. It won't give you the specific brand of cozy that comes from complete absence of conflict or challenge. But what it will do, however, is offer a different, more active kind of comfort. It provides the deep, engaging satisfaction that comes from raising a quirky and memorable noble bloodline. It gives you a wonderfully tactile set of systems to play with, allowing you to tinker with dice combinations and strategic loadouts to conquer maps at your own deliberate speed. Either way, whether you choose to play this game or not, may the dice rolls forever be in your favour. But that's just my take. I'm really curious to hear what you think. Does Dice Gambit look like something you'd play? Does the dice mechanics feel cozy and playful to you, or is it just too unpredictable? And how do you feel about games that focus on lineage and legacy systems? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.